We are officially live, broadcasting only on onedealaway.com/live. My name is Nev, this is Money Matters, and today is Sunday, believe it or not. And who knew? We officially have a 46th or the 46th, I don't know, I always get confused with the articles. President of the United States, Joe Biden. So congratulations to, guess President Biden. Well, he's not president yet, but I guess he will be in a couple of months now. So this is very exciting. I know many people are very happy. I know many people are also not so happy. But I do have to say, without any regards to politics one way or the other, because I'm just very much apolitical, very apolitical. I do have to say that I did watch his speech, acceptance speech last night. Even though it's interesting enough, Trump still hasn't confirmed and basically said yes. So he too tweeted saying, "I'm the president. I won." so, so we'll see how this is going to turn out. I think it's still going to be an interesting few weeks and months potentially. But nonetheless, the votes have kind of come in from what we can see, and that they're saying that President or Joe Biden is the new elect president of the United States. And I do have to say that his speech was quite lovely. I do like the fact that he was talking about wanting to reunite United States one more time, which is beautiful. I think that the fighting and all of the craziness, kind of needs to stop, y'all. We can have a civil discourse, right? We can have civil disagreements. You and I don't both have to see to the same side. But hitting somebody with the 4x4 over the head because they don't see the same way you do, I think that that's really ridiculous. I mean, there are better ways to have civil discourse, and so I did appreciate that component. Now, of course, in today's news, we're going to be focusing a bit more on crypto for a few different reasons. A, it's pumping like crazy. B, I really like it and believe in it. C, there's a lot of news that we haven't covered that we need to cover. So we're going to be talking about potential stimulus plan that newly elected President Biden has for us. Is it going to happen in 2020? Probably not. But then again, Trump could decide to say, you know what? We still have this thing going for next 6 weeks. Let's make the best out of the last 6 weeks as opposed to sulking. But we'll see. For that, you need to be an adult, step up, admit when you've been defeated, and move on, go do something different. But then again, I'm not telling folks how to do or how to behave, so to each their own. So anything is possible, is what I'm saying. We're also going to be discussing that there's a news report that kind of came in of that it's quite possible for Bitcoin. One of the individuals on the inside of the whole thing is saying it's quite possible for Bitcoin to hit $100,000 per Bitcoin as early as 2021. If that was to happen, that would be absolutely insane. Of course, the price has gone up, it has come down. So we're going to be talking about all those different things. Now, if you're in wanting to know more about investing and money and enjoy chatting about cryptos and that kind of stuff, we're going to be talking about some technical analysis things that, might be important for you or maybe not. I don't know. To kind of consider, well, this is the show for you. You definitely want to come in. Say hello if you're watching this live. You're going to have to sign in. It's free to sign in. And you get a free course out of it. The Crypto 101 course, full-fledged course. I'm not talking this like ebook version of a 10-minute video. I'm talking full-fledged course, absolutely free. Talk about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, wallets, chains, how it all works, Ethereum, Bitcoin. So we're covering a bunch of different things, and so that's one thing that you should consider doing. We go live every morning only on onedealaway.com. And for everybody watching, welcome. Say hello, sign in, say hello, and we're gonna do Q&A at the end of the show as always. For everybody else watching this elsewhere, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is that you might be watching this, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button or thumbs up button or whatever it is that you have. If there's some sort of subscribe button, do me a huge favor and subscribe. And I know that it's actually this way now. I remembered. And if there's an alert thing, press it. Press it, press it, press it, so that way you get alerted every time we go live. All right, y'all, let's do this. And good morning and welcome. Before further ado, let's go in and jump in the news, y'all. So, we talked about that President-elect Joe Biden has already done the acceptance speech, but he also has a stimulus plan for the U.S. And so now we're going to take a look at what's actually in it, because this may or may not have been discussed. I know we didn't discuss it here on this channel, but this is important concept because when we talk about the stimulus plan, it's very important for what's happening currently in the economy, not just the United States, but around the world. But it's also important for things like crypto, things like Bitcoin, to be very specific. So here we go. This is what's happening. Hopefully, stimulus is going to be more than $20. But hey, $20 is $20. I will take any free money. It's not really free. I know it's not really free. Right? We're all gonna pay for it one way or the other. But when you have something like this, what do? It's very hard to say, you know what, forget it. I'm not gonna help anybody. You lose all of the businesses. Small first, medium go next, large then implode. So then everybody goes on unemployment. Everybody suffers. Nobody can pay rent. Nobody can pay anything. You have a complete calamity, destruction, revolution, right? And I don't think we want that. So these things are coming. There's no way going about it. You can like it, you cannot like it. Just accept it and find ways that protect you. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. But here it is of what's been discussed. Let's see if we can make this slightly bigger so that you can see it, I can see it. And we'll just move it, and there we go. That should take care of it. President-elect Joe Biden declared victory as the 46th president of the United States Saturday night. Our work begins with COVID under control. We cannot restore the economy until we get it under control. This was from his speech. This is direct quote. Another quote. More than 20 million are on unemployment. Millions are worried about making rent and putting food on the table. So Biden's vision includes more stimulus aid. But how does it actually look? Well, he is basically talking about stimulus payment, but he doesn't talk about how much, who, how many. Is it a one time? Is it an ongoing? Is there a limit or any of that stuff? So he doesn't have that quite yet. But then again, right, we got to give man time to actually work. And what he said in the speech is that as early as Monday, meaning tomorrow, he's going to start basically putting people together to start working on it. So when they hit, basically when it becomes official in January, they can hit the ground running. So they're going to basically pre-plan, pre-get ready for him going in. Of course, more unemployment benefits for workers. His plan doesn't go into specifics how much funding may be available, but he does say in the bill would boost unemployment benefits. His stimulus plan calls for an additional $200 to be added to the monthly payment that go to Social Security recipients. And he's also talking about offering a loan forgiveness, a student loan forgiveness of a $10,000 minimum. This would be huge, especially for millennial generation as well as the Gen Z that is coming into it. So this, if some of this stuff can be forgiven for folks, that means that their income of what they're getting is that much boosted, which means they have ability to spend. So what does this mean for us as a whole? On one hand, yes, we're printing money. We're going to be printing money. That is not going away. On the other hand, in the relatively speaking short term, when this was to happen, or if this was to happen, I don't know how you want to call it, that would basically mean that we would have millions, probably hundreds of millions of people that all of a sudden have extra income. So that means rent, food, buying of homes, shopping, that kind of stuff. So that is very, very important. Other measures included in his plan are money for small businesses, very important, emergency sick leave for everyone, fiscal relief for states, no out-of-pocket money for testing, treatment, eventual vaccine and stuff to basically make sure that everybody is being taken care of. So this is kind of what's in his plan. Again, we don't have as much detail as exactly how this is going to work and where this is going to go, but I think it's very, very important for us to kind of understand of where we are for the whole thing. Now, I do want to jump into the market because I also think this is important before we go into seeing what's actually happening with Bitcoin. So let's go do that right now. As you can see, Bitcoin is at $15,142. Let me refresh because this was when we first loaded. Oh, we're actually slightly up. I love it. I love it. It seems like every time we do the show, it goes slightly up. It moves, which is quite beautiful. So Bitcoin is at $15,235.20. It's down 1.9% for a day, for 24 hours, but it is up 10.5% for 7 days and slightly up over the last hour. Ethereum is also up at 446 and 64 cents. Thank you very much. Up 15.6% for 7 days, down 3.8% for 24 hours, and still 0.6% up over the course of a day. Now, again, we've talked about the fact that this is very cool, that Ethereum is finally starting to kind of go on up and get some amazing gains. And as you can see, it's definitely outperforming Bitcoin over the last 7 days. If we scroll down, you will see that over the course of 24 hours, we see predominantly red. However, on the 1 hour and the 7 day, we're seeing quite a bit of green. So not necessarily bad. It's been pretty darn good week. If we take a look at the quote-unquote biggest winners for the day, for the 24-hour period, you will see that Aave is up 11.9%. Then we have DCR up 10.3%. SNX up 6.3, and then it basically gets into 0 point something. So not a whole lot of pumpers. Again, some dumpers, but not as many. Ren down 11.5%, but up 7% for the week. Algo down 9.8, but up 7.6 for the week. ICX down 9.2, but up 8.2. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of stuff that is on the upside. Nothing in the crazy thing. The only thing in double digits is Ren, and that's about it. On a 7 day, Aave is up 67%. That is absolutely crazy. YFI up 45.1%, trading at $15,231.82. And I forgot to say that Aave is now at $49.55. Then we go into SNX for 43% gain, Sol 41.1, Vite 39.2, DCR 35.5, Band 34.2. So you can see that there are many altcoins that are actually pumping quite nicely. On the dumping end of things, CRO is down 13.1%, and it's been down across the board. HT down 11.4, XMR down 7.3, and I think it's going to continue. Monero is going to continue losing track. That's just my thinking because of the whole everybody's petrified of the safety coins and stuff, and so I kind of see that as potentially disappearing. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't have anything against it. I'm just looking at kind of where we are. So there you go. This is what's happening in the market. Now, I did promise we're going to talk about the Bitcoin, and the first part of the news comes from JP Morgan. So JP Morgan is basically saying that institutions are ditching gold ETF in order to be able to get Bitcoin. That's right. Bitcoin is slowly but surely starting to eat everything, which is why I'm very, very bullish on it and have been for a while. And of course, it's eating away at demand for gold ETFs. Institutional investors, such as family offices, now view the world's largest cryptocurrency, and first one, may I add, as a digital alternative to the yellow metal that has been used as a go-to safe haven. And now you can see over here the BTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, which is GBTC, because you'll see it again, is definitely going up. They were sort of kind of going together, and then in October they started to decouple a little bit. Then here's January, started to decouple a little bit. It started to go up, sideways, very, very healthy thing. Whereas gold is kind of, it's growing, but much slower pace, and it seems to be kind of topping. with the potential slight downward turn as we get into October and November of 2020. Bloomberg reported that Grayscale outperforming 97% of all US ETFs, while GBTC, which is that Grayscale fund, remains by far its most popular investment vehicle. The Ethereum Trust is also gaining more traction with a record-shattering $58 million. Last month, Grayscale's Ethereum Trust became an SEC reporting company, meaning that it now has to file quarterly and annual disclosures with the U.S. securities regulator. As reported by today, Grayscale has more than $1 billion worth of inflows in the third quarter of 2020. That is huge. And its year-to-date inflows are now nearing to a whopping $3 billion. And Grayscale now has well over $9 billion worth of assets under management. This is huge. This is the part that I have been saying. This is coming. This is going in. Getting things in, of course, is very important. Now, of course, folks did see that we did go down once the election was sort of announced, and they're saying the Biden effect. I don't know that it's a Biden effect, but the Bitcoin went down $850 immediately after the announcement. So what happened is, of course, we found out who the president is, and he changed his Twitter bio and sent a message to the nation, thanking them for support, promising to unite not so United States. Of course, Donald Trump did not give up and also came with victory in a tweet with capital letters. Yesterday, he assured the world he would dispute the election, the court being fraudulent, and said, "I won the election by a lot." So we still have two individuals claiming victory, but we'll see how that all is going to turn out. Of course, the moment we got the announcement, Bitcoin lost $850 right after the announcement. Today, the story is different. Between 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. UTC, the currency simply plummeted from 15,400 to a current low of 14,700, and it later collected to a little over $15,000 and then fell to 14,555 at the time of the writing. Of course, as we saw, we are well above 15,000 yet again. Following the 4-hour chart, the 14,600, 14,700 is marked as a possible strong support area. And of course, it did happen there. It has gone up. And as I have been saying, is that, sideways is good. Sideways, it could constant going up. That's not good. That is scary. That is bubble territory, and you got to get out. When we go up and we kind of dump a little bit and go down and kind of confirm and gets bought up and comes back and kind of does this little bit of up and down, that is very, very good. Now, charts with candles set to 1 day seem to point to a healthy correction. Bitcoin has been in a healthy bullish channel since March 2020. And of course, here is what this actually looks like. Let me see if I can open it in the new you don't get it any bigger or better piece. So we'll just kill that and come back to it. So as you can see, this was the March low when it kind of fell to that like $30,000 some dollars, and then it's been slowly going up, right? So it goes up, kind of sideways, go up. So this was a very long sideways with the down, went up, sideways, came down, sideways, went up, and of course you can see right over here where my mouse is, slightly above it, you can see how it kind of broke over that pattern. Well, when that happens, if it doesn't pull back, that's sort of that part that I keep saying, it's the bubble territory, and it's a bit scary. So the fact that it's actually coming down is very, very important. And you know what? Let's actually take a look into here, because what I can do is make it potentially bigger, right? And we can scroll down here. And so here it is, right? This is the part that I've been saying, right? At that, 15,000 something, it's a little bit on the too much end. Down here is about 12,000. So even if it dumps to 12,000, which is possible, it's still within the channel. And the cool part about it is, if it does fall down to $12,000, I don't know that that's panic inducing quite yet. I think that's a great buying opportunity. And as we've seen right here, if you take a look at the whole channel, it is very possible that it kind of goes up and down, and it makes perfect sense why it would do that. When it touched $16,000, it not only broke that channel, but brought other indicators into an overbought zone with the potential of much further and steeper decline, may I add. BTC now returned to the normal channel And of course, the indicators are recovering, showing yet another healthy market. Now, of course, the question is how will he impact the Bitcoin market? And he is going to basically be issuing more stimulus as we've just discussed. And of course, I think that the impact is it doesn't really matter. For certain things, it really didn't matter of who the president is. More stimulus is coming. How fast or how slow that's going to happen. Is the House and the Senate and the Congress, are they all going to agree and decide to play nice, or they're going to still have their, sort of like stuck like a donkey in the sand and not moving anywhere? We will see. Nothing is for certain, but as of right now, from the fiscal component, from the money component, both Trump wanted stimulus, Biden wanted stimulus, which means, the Federal Reserve wants stimulus, so it's a print, print, print. Those are the only options that exist. Now, what's going on, additional piece that's kind of cool, is that the crypto ATMs are growing. And there's a machine that is installed every hour. This is absolutely insane. Coin ATM Radar, so far in 2020, is basically reporting that there has been a growth of more than 80% in the deployment of new crypto ATMs, which is almost 3 times the amount reported in beginning of 2019. And of course, it's still growing. Look how fast this thing is growing. This is crazy. And they're expanding like wildfire. The United States is leading the way with 79.2% of all Bitcoin ATMs in the world, followed by Canada, and then we go into United Kingdom and European, and then we go into Hong Kong, and of course we see stuff in Colombia that is starting to grow. Genesis Coin is the leading startup in this whole thing. However, you can see that the very next one is General Bytes, followed by BitAccess, CoinSource, Lamasu, Lightning Exchange, Bitstop, and then there's other that kind of fall into it. But Genesis definitely has the largest share by far. Adoption of cryptocurrencies is growing every day, and that's what this is basically showing us. And the phenomenon has crossed the minds of the strategists from large financial companies such as PayPal, MicroStrategy, Square, Grayscale, and many others that we don't even know about or talk about that are slowly but surely accumulated before they announce it. And they not only invested in acquisitions of the type of asset, but also lowered the entry barrier for everybody, individuals as well as the institutions that exist out there, as we've seen from the whole component. Now, when we talk about the PayPal and individuals, here is the news that I was telling you about: $100,000 Bitcoin in 2021, and that is coming from Kraken's Dan Held. So here is, but he also says that I see kind of a little bit of a risk potentially. So here is what he's talking about. Bitcoin has possibility, and a much stronger possibility now than ever before, of skyrocketing to $100,000 in 2021. It remains a risk-on asset as he anticipates the Biden administration to print more money at an unprecedented rate. And of course, he's going to do the same thing that the other ones were going to do. We talked about the print, 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 right? We all see the writing on the wall. In possible threat, he does talk about the possible threat of the paperization of Bitcoin, where large corporations such as PayPal buy huge amounts of BTC but do not allow the deposit, or the withdrawal, or transfer, or any of that stuff of the crypto asset from their ecosystem, which then eliminates the need to settle transaction on a chain and creates a brand new layer of settlement of like the paper settlement, kind of like a paper gold versus gold, right? Or like when dollar was backed by gold but is then backed by nothing. So there's a possibility for that, although PayPal has been talking about that they're going to allow for that stuff. We just still don't know until we see it, right? So don't believe it. Trust but verify, as they say. So don't believe it until you see it. Now, he also is saying that the risk exists there, but it's not as strong, and he strongly believes in Bitcoin's core settlement system and doesn't see any reason to use a counterparty or get concerned about the whole thing. So he's one of the people that is saying $100,000 in a relatively short period of time. Now, of course, one of the things that I did want to talk about is that it's very interesting component that has to do with the altcoins. So we've seen the Bitcoin pump a lot. We just covered some of the prices of things like Band, Chainlink, Aave, Wi-Fi, all of that stuff that has been pumping. And here's the piece that was kind of updated yesterday. So we're a little bit late behind it. We saw that the price has changed, but Wi-Fi was just sort of like outperforming and doing crazy stuff. And we saw it yesterday. We see it today. It did kind of come back down. It's still down from its ridiculously high of 40,000 something, right? But it signifies that DeFi is not dying. It has slowed down, and we're almost like consolidating for DeFi 2.0 or 2.1 or whatever you want to call it, right? So that's an interesting piece. Now, Yearn Finance token increased by around 100%. What happened? Well, from a technical perspective, the resistance lines in Bitcoin way north are situated at 16,000, 16,400, and 16,720. Alternative Bitcoin could rely on the support level of 15,200, 15,000, and 14,650. Let's jump in and take a look at the chart of kind of where we are. So this is a Bitcoin chart that we've been playing around on the trading view. This is a daily, so we can kind of come in over here. Here we go, October into November. And now I want to actually change it to, let's do a 4 hour. 4 hour. And as you can see, yes, we are now starting to kind of go from a high of what? 15,700. Then we have this sort of, it looks like support at 14.5. So we're starting to go with this $1,000 range. Now we've seen this before, if you will recall it. We've seen this before where we were doing the range of sorry, I have one too many things happening, of like 13,700 to 900 to 12,900, and we were kind of going back and forth. So it looks like we might be hitting that range again, and that would be actually quite lovely if we could go and continue for another week or two. That would be quite beautiful for this whole piece. So potentially they're right. It looks like that we are that 14.5 to 15.5, and we're going to be kind of trading maybe in that range, and then boom, we definitely could go to 16 something or completely bypass it, kind of like what we did. We were at that 12.9 to 13.9, 12.9 to 13.9, kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for a little while, and then boom, just overpassed 14,000, went straight into 15,000. We could see something very similar here, where we're now flirting between 14,000 something, 15,000 something, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, skip over 16,000 into 17, potentially into 18 as well. So that is also a possibility as well, but I don't know for a fact, right? So nobody can predict the future, neither can I. An altcoin surge could be just around the corner. Ethereum has spiked by 6% and has neared $460. Ripple is 4% surge. Bitcoin Cash up 6%. Binance Coin up. Polkadot up. Cardano, Litecoin, and of course Chainlink outperformed them all after a 14% surge. And this is kind of what was happening in the market. Yearn.finance was leading with a 62% surge on a 24-hour scale, and we saw that Aave also picked up in a great deal. Solana, BAM Protocol, DXChain, SushiSwap, EnergyWeb, Aave, we just talked about reserve rights, and Ren are also another sort of double-digit performance, and the sort of all signifying that this has kind of come in. And the interesting piece that we're sort of seeing is when we see Bitcoin kind of pump, everybody kind of seems to get out of the altcoin market, gets into Bitcoin market, then kind of Bitcoin sort of slows down and kind of starts going sideways. It becomes boring. Then all the traders take some of the money and then dump it back into the altcoins, and then altcoins kind of catch up with the thing. And so we're seeing this sort of like a seesaw thing of like, one another. And as Bitcoin gets more expensive, of course, more people will start coming in. But of course, when other things start pumping, we've seen in the past, and we're going to see it this time around as well, where people kind of come into some of the more affordable coins, because why would I have like one Satoshi, which is what, like 0.00000, right, whatever, when I can have like one Ethereum or two Link or 10 Ren or whatever, right? Um, Obviously, those are not the exact prices and stuff. It's not one for one exchange, but you understand the whole point. So there's something about the holiness of the numbers and stuff, and we've seen it before. We'll see it again. Now, here are some of the additional pieces that I thought this was kind of interesting. The technical analysis for beginners, and this was written back in June of 2020, and it comes from Crypto Potato. So if you're kind of brand new, and if you're interested in this stuff, I'm actually going to take this and dump it into the chat. So if you want to read it, you have it right over there in the chat. You don't have to look for it. If you're not live, well, you're gonna have to find it yourself. But it talks about a different sort of trading analysis and trend lines, and talk about these particular things, right? So you look at the kind of the trend lines, and you've seen people draw these things, and typically when it kind of comes to the trend line, bounces off it, goes back up, that is very good and very, very healthy, and then it kind of should come and revisit. That's the consolidation period. From there, if it bounces back up again, that's very bullish. The bearish part is if it comes here, breaks it, doesn't bounce off, and continues going down, now we're starting to make lower lows, and now we can go sideways or potentially down. So that's one of the things that is saying. Now, one of the things that they're saying is that you must be accurate when drawing these trend lines, and how to do it perfectly. Well, as you hover over each candle, you will notice the lowest price of the market load as L at the top of the bar on the highest price H if line direction is down. Now, place the line exactly there. Next, extend the line roughly as it touches the next candle in the line to the same. Check exactly the L for that candle. Now, correct your line, and final steps is to auto extend the line using the line settings, and then line extends to the desired side, probably right. This explains. This was for CoinLee chart, but should work well for other chart and applications. So this is kind of right, showing you how to do this stuff. Then you have resistance and support level. Well, it makes kind of sense, right? If you think about it, this becomes support level right over here. It's a trend line, but it's also support level, right? And if we take this chart right over here, you can see this over here and this over here, roughly speaking. It's not exactly, and I don't have a line to draw, but roughly speaking, maybe I can play around with this stuff. You know how much I love drawing. Oh no, I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay, go away. Nobody wants you. All right. Okay, so you see this over here and this over here. You don't do it with the hand. It's almost like it's at the same level, right? If we were to kind of draw it. So right over here, this is a resistance level, meaning it's sort of like a ceiling that it keeps hitting on. If it breaks over and it starts trading like it does over here, right? And and it seems like it has come to potentially resistance level over here. Again, not the exact drawing, but you understand the whole concept. And it comes back down. When it hits it like it does over here, now this becomes a support level, and you can kind of see that piece. Now, of course, we can also talk about the channels, in which this case instance, the channel right over here, again, you connect the high with the high with the high, right? And you can see that this is turning into what is known as megaphone, because it's kind of like speaking in the megaphone, right? How does the megaphone go? That's, this is the megaphone pattern. Then you have a triangle pattern. Megaphone patterns are kind of hard to trade when you do them, because, right, it goes this way, and so the trading channel goes much wider and stuff, and you're like, my gosh, I don't know which way it's going to go. Whereas the triangle pattern is a bit better, because it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, so it like coils up, and then it has a massive explosion either on the upside or the downside. And there are other sort of indicators that you can take a look at to help you understand which one. So there you go, a little bit of the technical stuff. And again, if you get into One Deal Away and come watch this live and you sign up for a free account, you actually get the course, and we go over that stuff. And of course, you can read this article as well. So see, this is the part resistance level, and now it becomes the support level because it comes and tests it. It goes up, tests it. There are some other indicators as well that are very interesting. I don't know if they talk about it in this particular article or not, but let me see if I can draw this. So if we were to see, you see this over here, this is actually quite lovely chart. Well, they're talking about the resistance and support level, right? You see this, oh no, hold on. You see this right over here and this right over here. This is known as double top. When you see a double top, typically it goes down. And of course, in this case instance, it has, right? Then it kind of finds the bottom, consolidates, and then it has an ability to go up. If we were to see something slightly opposite of the double top and say that this was kind of trading over here, comes back, touches it, comes back, touches it, and then, you know, we're sitting right over here and it starts going this way, now you're looking at a double bottom. And just like double top, double bottom is opposite of double top does typically, not always, but typically it has ability to go up. And we kind of see it right over here, where you can see that it kind of creates kind of creates a bottom right here and a bottom right here. Not exactly, but it does come, and you can see that it's actually starting to come on up. And this is the trading channel. You take the top, you take the bottom, and now this is the trading channel. Trading channels can be sideways, they can be sort of bearish or downward, or they can be on the upside of the things, and they're very, very, very important. So see, don't you love the fact that you are joining and watching this? I mean, how much fun are we having and learning all this stuff? And all for free. Like, that's the crazy part. People typically charge. They charge for this. They put it in a course, and here you get it for free. So here it is. They're talking then about the moving averages, and this is very important. Typically, they look at the 20-day or 50-day, 200 days. So those are the important moving averages. People sometimes play around with it, but the typical ones are like 20, 50, 200 day moving averages. Then you have the exponential moving average, which basically gives more weight, and its calculation of the price value that lasts a few days versus the previous days. So that one kind of says it's more important what happened yesterday and day before than what happened 50 days ago, if we go with the 50-day EMA, right? One of the example is calculation coefficient of the last 5 days of EMA 15 days will be twice that of the previous 10 days. And now you actually see in practical example, this is the 10-day moving average crosses above the 30-day moving average. It might tell us a positive trend is coming. Now, people do different kinds of moving averages, and again, a lot of it has to do with a time horizon, right? And so that's an important piece. Trading volume is very, very important because it identifies sort of the trends. If we're seeing that the obviously the significant trends are accompanied by high trading volumes, and weak trends, well, there's not as much volume happening. So when something kind of starts going down, right, then you want to check on the volume and see if a bunch of people are basically selling it or kind of getting out of it. And of course, you want to take a look at high volume when things are going up. And you can see here, look, it went up, the volume went up, then it kind of started to go down as the things were turning, and sort of like slowish kind of move that was happening. So of course, you have to look at some of the other things, how to identify stuff. So again, really, really cool thing that Crypto Potato has actually done. So you definitely want to read into this stuff. There's also many YouTube channels that exist that also talk about the technical trading analysis. I think that the fundamental analysis is also very important. I know that there are people that say fundamental only, technical only, and they kind of fight back and forth. I'm a firm believer that you want to do both. Why not do both? I think looking at charts is very, very important, because I don't know how people can understand where things are going without looking at charts. At the same time, looking at a chart alone doesn't give me the big picture. And I like to do a big picture, probably because I'm not necessarily a trader per se. I probably am more of an investor, so I like to look at the fundamental of what's going on there, where are we going, what does the future hold, and then I like looking at the charts and stuff. But some of the things like Bitcoin, for example, is just the daily cost average, right? You just sort of mindlessly buy. It's kind of like what they taught us to do with the 401k, right? And part of me is like, man, can 401k, can we like get Bitcoin instead? Because I would really like that. No, it doesn't exist yet. Yes, it will come at some point, some sort of ETF. But I don't want an ETF. I don't want a mutual fund. Like I want to own that puppy. But who knows? That also could be coming as well. Okay, so two final pieces to kind of cover, and then we go into the Q&A. One of the things that is happening in Latin America specifically, we're going to go to Argentina, and here is what their central bank is doing. They're lifting a freeze on bank fees increases and sets the ceiling for a future increase. So they went back out and said, you know what? Yes, you can increase the fees, go nuts, but you can't increase more than 9% per month. That is crazy. That is crazy. Imagine the cost of you doing business goes up 9% every single month. That is exponential growth and at an insane pace. I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but I promise you it is. Imagine if I take 9% of your money today and then I show up a month from today and take 9% of top of that 9%, right? So I'm taking way more money, and you can see how quickly that can add up. Now, of course, what can they raise the money on? Well, all kinds of different financial services like additional debit cards, replacement debit cards, use of ATMs, services such as extraction of funds through terminals, points of sale, cash withdrawals, an account by the owner of the third party, safe deposit boxes, operation with securities, and of course, charging for checking accounts. Now, this is absolutely horrible if you're in traditional finance piece. And I understand on one hand of why the bank is doing that and why the banks are doing this. As you know, Argentina, beautiful country, rich in resources, is suffering mostly because of, well, people get into the power and then they misuse it for their own personal gain. And of course, people then pay for it. And squandering all of their wealth. And it's really horrible. So they've been having a lot of challenges with their currency and inflation starting to go up, and of course, that's kind of what happens within their banking. But they're not necessarily thinking, wait a minute, there's another layer called cryptocurrency, and people that are smart and intelligent within the country that are dealing with that stuff, people are jumping into it, and those that are in those businesses are advertising like crazy and starting to see insane adoptions. On the other end of the spectrum, when we go to Europe, for example, then we have many firms starting to apply for crypto services under the new European regulations. This is coming from the Dutch central bank. Oh, look at beautiful Amsterdam. Oh, this COVID gotta go. I gotta travel. I got places to see, and people to hang out with, and things to do, and food to taste, and drinks to have. Oh, I miss traveling. But anyways, they are actually having a lot of companies that are starting to come in and want to become a registered crypto service providers. This is coming from exchanges. This is coming from the custodial wallets. And, they are basically getting all kinds of folks that are coming in and requesting for the stuff. So, which is absolutely amazing and very positive side. So talk about a very different kind of thing to talk about when it comes to the same thing, right? Same thing, but when it comes to investing. And the final piece, I did want to take a very quick look with you as to what's happening with the future markets. As you can see, S&P down, Nasdaq, they're actually down. Russell is down. Crude oil is down. Gold is up slightly. Silver is up more than slightly, $27. Wow, well over 2%. 10-year-old bond is up significantly, which means the rates are going up. I don't know how I feel about that. And you can actually see what's going on over here, and so we don't know what the future is going to do. They're going to actually start that tonight and into the morning, so we don't know anything of anything yet. We'll see how the market will react onto the things, but I think it's very, very important to acknowledge that stuff. So there you go. I hope you have actually enjoyed this particular episode, and that you're enjoying the channel. We're gonna go into the live Q&A right now for everybody watching live. For everybody else, hey, do me a huge favor: smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification if there's such a thing or whatever, right? And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay forever money blessed, and do remember, you are only one deal away.